She said, "I only take what I deserve." I watched her laugh, swipe my money on luxuries I couldn't afford, and thought I knew her. But one night, I opened my bank app and saw a transaction that made my stomach drop. Something she'd been hiding all along. I'm 34, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I'd been with my girlfriend Melanie for almost 3 years. We met at a charity fundraiser where I was volunteering, and she was there representing her company. She was beautiful, confident, successful, or at least that's what I thought. She worked in sales for a pharmaceutical company, always dressed impeccably, always had stories about closing big deals and traveling for work. I made decent money, nothing extravagant, but comfortable, enough to cover my bills, save a little, and occasionally splurge on something nice. Melanie, on the other hand, seemed to live a lifestyle that was beyond what her salary should have allowed. Designer bags, expensive dinners, spa days every other week. I never questioned it. I figured she was just better at managing money than I was, or maybe she got commissions I didn't know about. About 8 months into our relationship, she moved into my apartment. Her lease was ending, and it made sense financially, or so I thought. She'd contribute to groceries and utilities, and I'd cover rent since my name was on the lease. It seemed fair, but gradually things shifted. She'd forget her wallet when we went out to dinner. She'd ask to borrow money for gas, then never pay me back. She'd use my credit card for emergencies that turned out to be shopping trips. When I'd bring it up, she'd get defensive. "I only take what I deserve," she said once, after I questioned a $300 charge at some boutique I'd never heard of. "You make good money. What's the big deal?" I let it slide. I didn't want to be the guy who counted every penny, who made his girlfriend feel bad for wanting nice things. So I absorbed it. Paid the credit card bills, covered the dinners, bought the concert tickets she wanted, the weekend trips she suggested. But I started noticing patterns. She'd come home with new shoes, new clothes, new jewelry, and when I'd ask about it, she'd brush it off. Work bonus. Got it on sale. A friend gave it to me. I wanted to believe her. I really did. Then one night, about 4 months ago, I couldn't sleep. It was 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, and decided to check my bank account. Just a routine check, nothing suspicious. I opened the app, and my checking account balance loaded. $3,200 less than it should have been. I sat up, heart pounding, refreshed the page, same number, scrolled down to recent transactions, and there it was. A transfer I didn't recognize. $1,500 sent to an account I'd never seen before. Then another transaction 3 days prior. $1,200. Same account. My hands were shaking as I scrolled further. Over the past 2 months, there'd been 6 transfers like this, totaling almost $8,500, all to the same external account. I looked over at Melanie, sleeping peacefully next to me. She had my debit card. I'd given it to her months ago when she said hers was frozen due to suspected fraud and she needed to buy groceries. She'd never given it back. I got out of bed, went to the living room and pulled up my laptop, logged into my bank account on the desktop for more details. The account receiving the transfers had a name attached, M. Lawson, Melanie's last name. She'd set up an automatic transfer from my account to hers, and I hadn't noticed because I didn't check my balance obsessively. I just assumed the money I made was enough to cover everything. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I just sat there, staring at the screen, trying to make sense of it. Was this a mistake? Had she set it up thinking it was from her own account? But even as I tried to rationalize it, I knew the truth. She'd been stealing from me. For months. Update 1. When morning came, Melanie woke up like nothing was wrong. She walked into the kitchen, kissed me on the cheek, made herself coffee, started talking about her day. I just watched her, feeling numb. "Hey, you okay?" she asked, noticing I wasn't responding. "You look tired." "I didn't sleep much," I said. Work stress? Something like that. She shrugged, grabbed a yogurt from the fridge, and headed to the bathroom to get ready. I sat there with my laptop still open, the transaction history glaring at me. I waited until she left for work. Then I called my bank. The representative confirmed what I already knew. The transfers were legitimate, meaning they were authorized from my account. Since Melanie had access to my debit card, and presumably my account information, she'd set up the recurring transfer herself. Can I reverse them? I asked. Not without proof of fraud or theft, and since she had authorized access to your account, that complicates things. You'd need to file a police report. I hung up, feeling sick. Police report meant pressing charges. Pressing charges meant potentially sending my girlfriend to jail. Could I do that? I decided to confront her first. See if there was an explanation I was missing. Maybe she'd intended to pay me back. Maybe there was a reason. That evening, she came home around 6:30, carrying shopping bags. More shopping bags. Hey, babe, she said brightly, setting them down on the couch. Look what I got. They were having a sale at... Melanie, we need to talk. She looked at me, her smile faltering. About what? Sit down. She sat, suddenly wary. I pulled up my bank account on my phone and turned it toward her, showing the transaction history. What is this? I asked. She glanced at the screen, and I saw it. The flicker of panic before she composed herself. What do you mean? These transfers. To your account. $8,500 over the last 2 months. Did you set these up? I can explain. Please do. She took a deep breath, looked away. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? I lost my job 3 months ago. I stared at her. What? They let me go. Budget cuts or whatever. I've been looking for work, but nothing's come through. I didn't want to worry you, so I took what I needed to get by. You took what you needed? Melanie, that's almost $9,000. I know, and I was going to pay you back once I found something. How? You've been buying designer clothes and going to the spa while stealing from me? I wasn't stealing. I needed to keep up appearances. For interviews and networking, I can't show up looking like I'm broke. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So, instead of telling me you lost your job, instead of asking for help, you just secretly drained my account. I knew you'd react like this. I knew you'd make me feel bad about it. Make you feel bad? Melanie, you committed fraud. It's not fraud if we're together. Couples share money. Not without consent, they don't. She stood up, angry now. You know what? I do deserve that money. I've put up with your boring lifestyle, your cheap dates, your refusal to take me anywhere nice. I gave you 3 years of my life. That money is the least you owe me. I felt like I'd been slapped. Get out. What? Get out of my apartment. Now. You can't kick me out. I live here. Your name's not on the lease. You've been stealing from me. Get out before I call the police. Her face went pale. You wouldn't. Try me. Update 2. She left that night, threw some clothes in a suitcase, called a friend to pick her up. She was crying, yelling, saying I was overreacting, that I'd regret this. I just stood there, arms crossed, watching her go. The next morning, I went to the bank in person, changed all my passwords, got a new debit card, closed the account she had access to, and opened a new one. I also filed a police report. The officer who took my statement said it was technically theft, but since we'd been in a relationship and she'd had access to my accounts, it would be hard to prosecute. Still, I wanted it on record. Over the next few days, Melanie texted me constantly. Apologies, mixed with accusations. She was sorry, but also I was heartless. She'd made a mistake, but also I'd driven her to it by not appreciating her. I blocked her number after the 15th message. 2 weeks later, I got a text from an unknown number. It was her, using a friend's phone. I'm pregnant. My stomach dropped. I called her immediately. Is this real? I asked, when she picked up. Yes, I found out yesterday. How far along? About 6 weeks. I did the math. 6 weeks ago we were still together. It was possible. I want a paternity test, I said. Are you serious? After everything you've done? Yes, I want a test. She hung up on me. Update 3. A week passed with no contact. Then she called from yet another number. Fine, she said. We can do a paternity test. But I need money. I can't work right now. I'm too sick from morning sickness. Melanie, I'm not giving you any more money. So you're just going to let your child starve? I don't even know if it's my child. And considering you've been lying to me for months, I'm not taking your word for anything. God, you're such an asshole. Get the test. Then we'll talk. She agreed, reluctantly. We scheduled a prenatal paternity test for 3 weeks later. It was expensive, but I needed to know. During those 3 weeks, I did some digging. Called a mutual friend who worked in HR at Melanie's old company. She confirmed Melanie had been let go, but not 3 months ago, 6 months ago. She'd been lying about having a job for half a year. I also checked my credit report, terrified she'd opened cards in my name. Thankfully, she hadn't. But seeing the timeline of her deception made everything worse. 6 months of lies, 6 months of stealing, 6 months of pretending everything was fine while she bled me dry. The paternity test results came back on a Thursday. I was at home when the email arrived. Opened it with my heart in my throat. Not a match. The baby wasn't mine. I sat there, staring at the screen, feeling a mix of relief and rage. She'd tried to trap me, tried to guilt me into supporting her with a baby that wasn't even mine. I forwarded the results to her without comment. She called immediately. Let me explain. I hung up, blocked that number too. Final update. It's been 2 months since I got those test results. 2 months since I cut Melanie out of my life completely. I haven't heard from her directly, but through mutual acquaintances, I've pieced together what happened. The baby's father is apparently some guy she met at a bar a few months before we broke up. She'd been seeing him on the side, probably around the time she lost her job. When I kicked her out and she realized she was pregnant, she tried to pin it on me because I was the stable one, the responsible one, the one who'd actually take care of her. She's living with her sister now, still unemployed, still burning through whatever money she has left, which apparently includes the $8,500 she stole from me. My police report went nowhere. The DA's office said it wasn't worth prosecuting given the circumstances and the difficulty of proving intent. I took her to small claims court instead, won a judgment for the full amount plus court costs. Whether she'll ever actually pay me back is another story. Her wages can be garnished once she gets a job, but I'm not holding my breath. As for me, I'm doing okay. I've been more careful with my money, more cautious about who I let into my life. I started seeing a therapist to process everything, to understand why I let things get as bad as they did before I acted. She helped me realize that I confused generosity with love. I thought providing for Melanie, absorbing her financial chaos, made me a good partner. But really, it just made me an easy target. Melanie didn't love me. She loved what I could give her. And when I stopped giving, she disappeared. I've been on a few dates since then. Nothing serious. I'm taking my time, learning to recognize red flags early, learning that someone who truly cares about you won't bleed you dry and then blame you for being upset about it. Someone asked me recently if I regret the 3 years I spent with Melanie. Honestly, I don't. Those 3 years taught me what I won't tolerate. They taught me that actions speak louder than words, and that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them the first time. Melanie showed me exactly who she was. A liar, a thief, a manipulator who believed she was entitled to whatever she wanted, regardless of who she hurt. And when I finally stopped enabling her, she moved on to the next person who would. I just hope that baby's real father figures it out faster than I did. Because Melanie's not going to change. She's going to keep taking, keep lying, keep justifying it with that same line she gave me. I only take what I deserve. The difference now is, I know the truth. She doesn't deserve anything from me. Not my money, not my time, not my sympathy. She deserves exactly what she gave me. Nothing. Edit. A lot of people are asking why I didn't notice the money missing sooner. Honest answer, I wasn't paying close attention. I had automatic bill pay set up. I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck, and I trusted her. That was my mistake. Now I check my accounts weekly. Trust, but verify. Edit 2. For those saying I should have pressed charges harder, I tried. The police and DA's office both said that because she had authorized access to my account, I'd given her my debit card. Proving criminal intent was nearly impossible. Civil court was my only real option. The system isn't great for financial abuse cases, especially between partners.